Chengdu is not just about the food and the pandas. It's also one of the best cities in China for hikers. Hi, I'm Sandy, and for the past few years, I have been hiking in many different places, mostly in the western part of China, and documenting my journey here on this channel. So I have just spent the entire month of June in Sichuan, just traveling, hiking and climbing, and it has been so crazy. So I kind of want to sit down and just talk about it while the memory is still fresh, and just to share what's like living in Chengdu as a digital nomad while doing all these outdoorsy stuff. Before we get into this video, I just want to share something that has become part of my routine whenever I travel for hiking. So every time I plan for a multi-day trek or any outdoor adventures, one of the last things that I check before leaving is whether I have the travel medical coverage. It's one of those things that I hope I'll never need, but I would never go into the mountains without it. I'll come back to this later in the video because it actually became very relevant during my stay in Chengdu. So for those of you who don't know, I'm working in digital marketing as a freelancer, which means technically I can work from anywhere as long as I have my laptop and internet, and that gives me a lot of flexibility to choose where I live based on the lifestyle that I want. For example, living in a city that's close to where I can hike a lot, and that perfect place is the western part of Sichuan. Western Sichuan is where the Tibetan plateau begins, so the landscape changes dramatically. And Chengdu is the capital city of Sichuan. Within just a few hours of driving, you can go from a modern city to standing beneath snow-capped mountains over 5,000 meters high. So that makes it one of the best cities in China if you like hiking or alpine climbing. I flew to Chengdu at the end of May, did a 2-day backpacking trek with some new friends that weekend. We camped by the lake and woke up to an incredible views of Mount Gongga the next day. And that's when I met Brittany. She was so kind as to offer me one of her apartments to stay in for the rest of the month. This saved me a lot of money on accommodation, which allowed me to stay in Chengdu for so long. Then after that, when I went back to Chengdu during weekdays, I basically worked from a cafe, editing videos, and hiked on weekends. Also meeting people that I've only spoken to on WeChat before I came here, and they introduced me to more people. They've brought such an energy of community. I also spent a lot of time climbing, preparing for my first Alpine climb. There are so many climbing gyms in Chengdu. After 2 weeks of training, we went climbing at Sichuan Peak. Just a 1-day trip from and back to Chengdu by high-speed train. I documented my whole journey in this video. Go check it out if you're interested. And I wrapped up the month with a 4-day trek around Mount Ge, one of the most beautiful hikes I have ever done. I even witnessed a proposal beneath the mountain, which made the trip even more unforgettable. I also made an entire video about that trek if you'd like to check it out. All in all, it's been a crazy month. It was like one thing after the next, and it was so much fun. When you are traveling like this, especially somewhere remote, it's nice knowing that you have planned ahead. For me, buying travel medical package is like packing the right gear or checking the weather before going to the mountains. Most of the time you don't need it, but it's part of being prepared. If you're planning a trip like this to China, you're gonna wanna check out Safety Wing. They offer travel medical coverage for long-time travelers and digital nomads. They have rolled out 2 new Nomads insurance plans designed for every kind of adventure. The essential plans covers the basic with options for adventure sports and electronic theft, while the complete plan offers comprehensive health coverage with routine healthcare, mental health support, and maternity. Perfect for travelers from over 180 countries. If you'd like to learn more, please check out the link in the description below, and I'll also put a QR code on the screen. If you decide to use my link, it will help support the channel with no extra cost to you, which I really appreciate. Now let's get back to the video. As for the cost of living, it's basically like living in a first-tier city at a much lower cost. Transportation within Chengdu is very convenient. DD is cheap and the subway network is excellent. Speaking of subway, I even found an entire subway station covered with poster of Olivia Rodrigo's new album. Yes, I'm a fan. Her new album came out in mid-June, I think, and for the rest of the month, I've been listening nonstop to it. As for accommodation, my experience might be a bit more unusual as I was lucky enough to stay in a friend's apartment, but from what I learned, the apartment in Chengdu can be very affordable. There are plenty of budget hostels, although if you are a foreign traveler, just make sure to check if they accept foreign guests before booking, because fun fact, some of them actually don't accept foreign guests. But if you book on trip.com, there is usually no problem. Now we can't talk about Sichuan without talking about its food. As we all know, Sichuan is famous for its cuisine, especially if you like spicy food. But fun fact, Sichuan food is more numbing than spicy thanks to Sichuan peppercorns. But as a Cantonese, I cannot handle spicy food at all. But the milder, numbing kind of spicy, I can. My personal favorite is 非常粉. It might not sound the most appealing dish, but trust me, it's good. I'm trying to avoid using this word, but I really love the vibe of Chengdu. The energy of the city is so chill and energetic at the same time. I don't think there's a better way to describe it. I was staying at the eastern part of Chengdu, which feels more lived in than touristy. People seem to live at a slower pace, but at the same time, there are so many cool cafés, independent shops. If you're into a more artsy and modern vibe, you can go check out Dongjiao or Side Park. And speaking of cafes, I think I managed to work from almost every cafe in my neighborhood. Probably the biggest reason I stayed so long was people. I met so many people who share the same passion for the outdoors, and there's just a strong sense of community here. I also noticed that people here seem genuinely relaxed and optimistic. Like, they work hard, but they also know how to enjoy life. Some people say that has something to do with Sichuan being the birthplace of Taoism, where the idea of going with the flow and living in harmony with nature has influenced the local culture for centuries. I don't know, it's definitely something I could feel when I was here. Also, earthquake happened a lot in Sichuan. In fact, the day after I left and also sometime afterwards, there were a few small earthquakes happen in the nearby area of Chengdu. Maybe that's one of the reasons people here seem to appreciate living the moment a little bit more. Coming from a Cantonese culture background, I actually find a lot of similarity between these two places. People in both places are genuinely chill and open-minded, but I don't know, I feel like people here are more like direct, and like I love the optimism. One difference really stood out to me though is the women. Sichuan women have a reputation across China for being incredibly capable and independent. And after spending a month here, I started to understand why. So if you see historically, while men were away working or serving in military, women often had to stay at home and keep everything running at home. So I think that resilience is still very much part of the culture today. It's been one of the craziest months I've had in a long time, and I'm already thinking about going back again in the near future. I still have one more hiking video from this trip that I haven't finished editing yet. It's a hike on one of the oldest roads in China with a history of over 2,000 years old. And these trees here are also over 2,000 years old. So make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss out. I actually learned a lot about how to deal with altitude sickness during this trip. So I'm planning to make a separate video to talk about that, and also to talk more about the trails that I've done in Western Sichuan in the past few years. So if you have any questions that you would like me to cover, let me know in the comment down below. I hope this video has been helpful if you are planning a trip to Chengdu or Western Sichuan. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.